Now, following the announcement of her separation from footballer husband Ashley, singer and X Factor judge Cheryl Cole has reportedly told friends that she's worried about being on her own again. She's allegedly told them that she's scared stiff about being single after all this time, as she's been with him for nearly 6 years. So are Cheryl's apparent worries well-founded? Is singledom something that should be feared today?
Well, first of all, she shouldn't be scared because she's very young and, you know, you just get up and get on with it and start again. And very beautiful.
Yes.
And, you know, don't be scared because that's a horrible place to be. I mean, I've been single for 7 years and I was less lonely. I'm less lonely now than I was in my marriage. I was, you know, in a marriage for 25 years and desperately lonely. And it's taught me a lot being on my own. It's not always been nice because I do get very lonely. And I'd love to have somebody to put my arms around, you know, and hug and say, and go home and talk over the day with and all that. Having said that, it's given me a lot of strength. It's given me my confidence back as a person and a woman. And I actually enjoy being single. And you know what? It's much nicer than being with somebody that you're unhappy with and that you can't admit to. So, you know, everybody should take pride in being on their own.
Definitely.
And just and really enjoy who you are. And you know what? Then you will maybe find somebody.
And I hate this thing, you know, for anybody out there. I've got lots of friends. You get to, oh, you know, you get into a certain age and they have a divorce to go through, or even are widows. And I would say to anybody, this terrible thing, oh, it's terrible. No, you have to embrace it and find other things in life. And I honestly do believe when you're young, people should be on their own for a good period of time. I was on my own for 12 years when my marriage broke down, my second marriage broke down. But you learn, you're right, you learn things. And certainly now, I know I've got married again, so it looks like it's easy for me to say, but equally, if God forbid anything happened to Michael, I had to be on my own again, don't worry about it. Society has got better. We are getting there. Go out there and have a good time.
You are very confident, Linda.
No, I'm not. I'm not, Ruth.
Well,
but I will not have this thing. If you keep saying things to people, they believe it, Ruth.
But I
think
I can understand the fear. I mean, I was never worried about being on my own when I was younger. And even now, I'm not worried about being on my own because I didn't think I wouldn't cope. You know, I can cope with taking the car for a service and that kind of thing and money, and that's not a problem. I think people are worried about being lonely, and as you get older, I do think you think, well, my friends are married and they've got kids and everyone's doing their thing, and you think you'll be on your own, as in you won't have any friends.
No, but you should embrace your friends and work hard. It's harder to keep your friends, actually, when you're married sometimes, because hubby takes over, than when you've got, you know, we're a different kind of set of people.
Have you never been on your own?
Have you noticed how quiet I've gone?
Have you never been on your own, though?
Well, I don't think I have for very long.
Well, that's your problem.
Well, I don't... You know, well, at least I don't take a bath with my dog. Do you know, I think I've probably been on my own for the longest about a year. And that's not because you know, I'm not defined by my relationship. I'd like to think there are other aspects of my life that fill me up as a person. But I've been in long-term relationships, and I'm better in a relationship. You know, I just...
How do you know? Because you've been on your own, so you
Well, no, I am. But I have outlets where I can be on my own, where I work away or I share time with friends. So I think I know who I am. I'm not defined by being with someone. I have to say, because Paul cooks, I'd probably starve if I didn't have a partner. So I'm quite, you know... No,
I've known you a long time, and I know full well that isn't you. You could survive. You're a good survivor. You're a strong girl, and you always have been.
I'm happier in a relationship.
Yeah, but you would survive on your own.
Yeah, of course I'd survive.
But would you actually be frightened at the idea of having to go out?
Well, I'd be frightened at the age of 46 having to go out and try and pull.
Yeah, that's... Can you imagine now trying to find... when you get over 40, over 45...
Yeah, but why does it have to be about pulling?
Well,
why is that the first thing you say?
That was just a term. If I had to go out and find... I am happier if I'm in a relationship.
Yeah.
And if I'm absolutely honest, I wouldn't want to end up on my own at the end of my days. I'd like to share all the happy stuff with somebody.
Excuse me, that, again, end up all on my... OK, everybody likes to have relationships, but ending up all on your own...
Well, no,
it's not like that.
You must think, ideally, you're being very strong, you're on your own, your life is happy, but... Surely you would like to find someone and be with someone.
Of course I would. And the other thing you do when you're on your own, and I have to hit myself around the room a bit, is you think too much. And that's the only thing I will say is everything goes on in here too much. And you have to stop that and say, come on, get over that, stop it. because, you know, you're very aware of your own self.
You should go out and find people to...
Yeah,
the
and
idea
I
that
do.
there aren't lots of friends. Volunteering, go out and go meet people.
Actually,
you know,
I know when I
honestly.
was on my own, I definitely invested more in my friendship. I
Yeah.
made more time. You know, when you're on it with a partner, you get a bit lazy, don't you? Well, he's always around and things. But I felt when I was on my own, I invested more in going to things.
Take
going
it
I will
pole
say,
dancing,
I will
anybody
say
out there?
that there's nothing like being in love. Of course there
Yeah,
isn't.
yeah.
And quite
Definitely.
honestly, I'd have Eamon.
Well, I'm afraid you can't.
I know.
You can have a bath with him, you just
Oh,
can't have him forever.
We'd have to hoist him in and out.
Yeah, you'd have to lift him in and out. Well,